All of your base star belong to us because this is the Save Point.
What's up, Monmouth University? Welcome to the Save Point, your #1 source for anything gaming. I'm your host, Marissa.
And I'm John Burgundy. And in today's episode, we have updates on Sony and Nintendo. We'll be taking a closer look at Big Hero 6, and we'll be hearing Dave and Chris's thoughts on this week's episode of Gotham and the Arrow.
We also have your comics in the news and the next Ramon's Rants.
But first, here's Jose with the scoop on Sony.
Yep. He's back. Followed by John with your breakdown of Big Hero 6.
Harry baby.
Hello, Save Point, and welcome back to the resurrection of your Sony News. I am your host, Jose Aguilar, and this week we'll be hitting all the marks on our PlayStation devices. The Order 1886 hit the PlayStation 4 exclusively on February 20th, where you'll be able to take Sir Galahad and his knights into an alternate version of Victorian-era London with an epic arsenal of weaponry. This unique look at the Industrial Revolution is just what my PS4 has been waiting for. I, for one, cannot wait to see where Sir Galahad and the Order will take me into this interesting look at the past. Speaking of PlayStation exclusives, let's take a road down memory lane with Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2. These games have been raved on about by reviewers of all brands because of their sheer difficulties. The Souls series have made a benchmark of challenges in gaming where you know you will not be running through this game without dying or falling prey to one of the many demons and beasts that wait on your travels with the many successes of this series. The spiritual successor of this iconic trilogy is born, or should I say, Bloodborne. Bloodborne for the PlayStation 4 is an RPG packed with storytelling bosses that look like they were handpicked from your worst nightmares. And it still has that Souls difficulty that keeps this series interesting. Minutes from Bloodborne's gameplay shows just how much angrier, grittier, and aggressive the gameplay has become. Passive gameplay is not rewarded in this new world. Enemies will chase you to the depths of the world, and you better hope you got the gun/sword gameplay down. And yes, I did say gun/sword. They stepped away from the sword and board playstyle from Dark Souls 1 and 2, and instead have turned the gameplay up a notch. The gun can be customized to whatever you see fit for the situation, so you can transform your gun into a larger but slower gun for crowd control, or smaller and faster to stagger enemy movements. Bloodborne will be hitting store shelves on March 24th. Be on the lookout. Lastly, Sony has just recently announced an 8-week PSN Spring Fever sale. New digital titles such as Metal Slug 3, Bastion, Helldivers, Hotline Miami 2, and more will be hitting the PSN store with a bonus 10% off for PlayStation Store members, PlayStation Plus members on their week of launch on their launch week. So this means sales on Batman, God of War, Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, Dragon Age, and Call of Duty. So if you're interested in getting any of these titles, I would wait for the spring sales. The promotion begins on March 3rd and ends April 27th. So that's all I have for you this week. My name is Jose Aguilar, and I'll see you next week with more PlayStation news. Now here's John with a review of the Oscar award-winning Big Hero 6.
Hey all you Safe Pointers, John here with a special segment on Big Hero 6. As you may already know, Big Hero 6 just won Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film on February 22nd. In light of this recent achievement, I'm going to compare and contrast the really popular movie to the really obscure comic that nobody knew about until the movie was released. For starters, we'll talk about the main heroes of Big Hero 6, Hiro Hamada and Baymax. In the movie, Baymax is a plush and huggable robotic healthcare provider that is upgraded by Hiro to become, well, a hero. In the comics, Baymax is different, to say the least. Instead of the plushy robot nurse we all know and love, Baymax is a giant mutant lizard. Yes, you've heard me right, a giant mutant lizard who acts as Hiro's bodyguard and is also implanted with the memories of his dead father. Freaky, right? Hiro Hamada is surprisingly similar to his comic book origins, with the exception of looking to avenge his dead father instead of his dead brother. The side characters Gogo, Honey Lemon, Wasabi, and Fred are all characters inspired from the comics as well. In the movie adaptation, these characters were a group of college nerds who were friends with Hiro's brother, and they each received their superpowers from the science that they studied. In the comics, Gogo was a former felon who tested a super speed suit. Honey Lemon was a secret agent who was appointed a superpowered handbag. Wasabi was a chef with paralyzation knives, and Fred was a shape-shifting Godzilla-esque creature. There were two other characters in the comics that didn't make it into the movie. The first was called Silver Samurai, who was, well, a silver samurai, who was also a mutant, coincidentally. The second hero that was cut from the movie adaptation was dubbed Sunfire, and he had the ability to fly and shoot plasma from his hands. Big Hero 6's story was also changed drastically for its movie adaptation. In the movie's plot revolved around the band of heroes trying to apprehend a mysterious masked villain named Yokai, who was connected to the death of Hiro's brother, Tadashi. However, in the comic, the plot is set off when Hiro's mom is kidnapped by the Ever-Wraith, an embodiment of the suffering caused by the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, who wanted to destroy the world. As you can imagine, Hiro and company had to fight it to save the world. Since Big Hero 6 was a Marvel comic, the characters also interacted with other Marvel heroes. For example, the team was called to aid Spider-Man against Doc Ock, and Sunfire eventually left the team to join the X-Men. His loss. I didn't see X-Men Days of Future Past win any Oscars. I think it's very evident that Disney decided to keep Big Hero 6 faithful to the comics. We would have seen a vastly different movie than the one that has been given to us. I know that there are some basement dwellers who hate the movie because it wasn't faithful to the comics, but I personally think that the changes Disney and Marvel made to Big Hero 6 made the movie flow better than if they had stuck with the comics. Big Hero 6 is the ultimate example of how adapting a story isn't always a bad thing, and if done right, can make a story even better. This has been John for The Save Point. Well, he was quite the handsome devil.
Don't go away, Save Pointers. We'll be back with more gaming news after this quick break.
And 30. Oh! Yo, hey, Allison.
What's going on?
Working on my free throws. Just sung 30 straight.
30? That's not possible.
Maybe not possible for you, but I've been practicing.
Step back and give me the rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
1, 2, 11. You know what's harder when people are watching?
Hey, you know, 11's not that bad. All you need are a few pointers.
Thank you. Are you a free throw expert?
Well, no, not really, but I do know excellent teamwork when I see it. It's so much easier to get active and live healthier when your friends are there to motivate you with a little friendly competition.
Now let's get this game started. Oh, she's going for the hook shot. Hook shot. That's what I'm talking about.
America.
Let's get healthy together.
Odds of becoming an astronaut, 1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love. For our future.
If you don't like the odds, stand up. Stand up to cancer.
I look up to a lot of the older heads, you know, the innovators, the heads of the art movements of the past. They kept it really edgy and like a lot of the Latin American muralists and Latin American artists, and their styles were very unique and new to their time. You know, somewhat controversial, but that's who I look up to mainly. Personally, I'm very excited about going to college. It's something new and it's something different than what I'm used to. I'm definitely going to be a little out of my element, but that's what makes it so exciting, is that, you know, it's something fresh. Well, there's so many opportunities that I think I could miss out on if I didn't go, you know? Getting into college takes planning and vision. You know, it's just like when I take a brick wall and turn it into a canvas for my art. Paintings help me realize that I've got what it takes.
Swag. Swag. Swag, what? What are you doing?
I'm on HawkTV12.com.
HawkTV12.com?
Yeah, it's so cool. You can watch all the Hawk TV programs on here, and it has the TV guide and... Phew, that was close.
Oh, hey Marissa! Check out this awesome new game! Oh.
Let's play this game. Hey guys, Marissa and John here, and we've got your Nintendo news. Nintendo wants to redefine entertainment. Though Nintendo is still committed to video games, the company is also looking to grow its business in new ways, experimenting with new entertainment categories. During a Q&A session with investors, Nintendo President Satoru Iwata presented his vision for Nintendo for the next 10 years. The English translation was published on February 17th.
One of Nintendo's first non-gaming entertainment efforts is its Quality of Life campaign, which the company first mentioned back in 2014. Iwata said that he doesn't want Nintendo to be considered a company that only makes video games. One of the first new entertainment categories Nintendo wants to pursue is health, because many people are looking to improve their health, and Nintendo thinks it has innovative ideas to put out that can help people feel better.
While some of the prices are scoring on the second-hand market, Nintendo has dropped prices on select amiibos. 3 of the most common amiibos, Peach, Donkey Kong, and Yoshi, from the first wave, are down to $9.99, as opposed to the standard price of $12.99. Nintendo hasn't officially announced the price drop, though it does come shortly after the release of the latest wave of amiibos. Nintendo revealed the top 10 selling amiibos for several markets around the world, and all 3 of the discounted amiibos made the top 10 in the United States and Canada, but this is likely attributed to their wide availability. The rare amiibo, such as Villager and Marth, can only be found being resold on sites like eBay.
More Zelda and Mario-styled games are coming to tabletops near you. Game company USAopoly is releasing 2 more themed titles. The first is Tactics Super Mario, which is said to play like the card game War. Although players will have good and bad guy themed decks and have the ability to flip between the winning conditions, being either the higher or lower card, the release is scheduled for sometime this winter at a retail price of $9.95. The other game to be released in the spring is a Legend of Zelda themed Yahtzee. There may be special rules, but aside from the dice cup being shaped like a treasure chest, no further details are known at this time.
A glitch was just discovered in the Wii U's Hyrule Warriors, where players can bank the maximum amount of rupees. At first, it was believed that the glitch was completely random, but players have discovered that the glitch works when fighting a giant boss character, including Goma, King Dodongo, and Argorok. You don't need to be a certain character, and you don't have to be a certain level to activate the glitch. You just need to apply Rupee Plus to your weapon, and your character should have full stamina fruit badges in order for the weak point gauge to be reduced effectively. The basic aim is to defeat the boss without using a weak point smash.
Finally, the Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Eon ticket will be distributed online soon, and UK retailer Tesco is selling the Nintendo 2DS for £49, probably because it is a piece of toast.
That's all for your Nintendo news. Tune in next week for more updates from the Big N.
We'll be taking another short break, but we'll be right back after these messages.
What's it like when you hear your calling? Will you remember where you were? Will you ignore it, or will you listen? What if it calls you to go halfway around the world? To share your skills? To serve people you've never met? To do things you never thought you could? What will you do when you hear your calling? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go?
I wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today.
Or a book report to give.
I wish I was in school.
I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess.
I wish I was in school.
I wish I was in school.
I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
It can attack anyone. The young, the healthy. H1N1 swine flu. It can cause fever, respiratory failure, or death. But that doesn't have to happen. Wash your hands, cover your cough or sneeze, stay home when you're sick. Getting vaccinated is the best protection.
I am who I am.
I am who I am.
I am who I am.
I am who I am because I had a great teacher.
A great teacher is a work of art.
A great teacher is a key to success.
A great teacher can change a life.
A great teacher changed my life.
Linda Bodie.
Hunter Frost.
Mr. Isaacson.
Mr. Cohn.
I learned that I didn't need to be like everybody else.
I learned that everything is possible.
I learned not to sweat the small stuff.
I learned that you can approach knowledge with a sense of wonder and fun.
I didn't learn how to speak Spanish, even though she was my Spanish teacher, but I did learn how to be myself.
Mr. Isaacson, it's been a long time, but thank you.
Anne-Marie Darcy, Craig Smith, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hunter Frost.
Mr. Glass, I thank you.
Charlotte Pace, thank you. To each and every one of my teachers, thank you.
won't want to miss Chris and Dave's discussion on this week's eye-popping episodes of Gotham and Arrow.
Followed by Dave with your comics and the news.
Hey guys, Dave and Chris here, and we're going to be talking about this week's Arrow and Gotham. And I think all we have to say right now is, yo, what the fuck? I cannot believe this week's episodes. Honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't get a Flash because I don't think it could have held up to the caliber of this week's Arrow and Gotham.
It would have just been completely, I guess, like anything that could have happened in the Flash. Like we could have found out who Harrison Wells really is, what's going to happen to Eddie Thawne, but nothing could possibly, I guess, compare to what happened in the Arrow.
This week's Arrow honestly felt like Arrow the movie. I felt like I was watching it for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
So let's just talk immediately about those cliffhangers, the two cliffhangers with Thea and Ollie.
Okay.
What do you think Ollie's response to Raz's question will be?
I think that, you know, he might actually say yes, so that, you know, him and Thea and I guess Merlin can be safe. But on the other hand, if he says no, it's because of like what he was talking about with Diggle, where he's like, it's kind of like a pride thing. Like, how can I lose to someone? And in a way, why would he say yes to someone that he lost to and that he wants to come back and get redemption against and stuff?
Here's my theory. I actually hadn't thought about that before, that he might say yes to protect everyone. My theory is, in the comics, Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, therefore the grandson of Ra's al Ghul, Ra's wanted to use Damian's body as his next body.
The vessel.
Yeah, he wanted to use it as a vessel and transfer his consciousness into Damian's body. I think that that's what he wants to do with Oliver. I think he wants to use Oliver's body because he already sees that it's been killed and came back, and he's proven that he's
strong enough.
Yeah,
that
strong
he deserves
enough.
To.
Exactly. So I think he's gonna try to just take his body.
Yeah, that's true. That would add like the first actual sense of like non-realism, I guess, in Arrow, besides like the Mirakuru and stuff. But you know,
and
mystical.
This episode did confirm that that Ra's is incredibly old. And those Lazarus pits, that pit he was soaking in at the beginning of the episode was a Lazarus pit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't actually catch that.
That was a Lazarus pit, and he also confirmed that he is over 100 years old by saying that he met a magician in 1850 or whatever, and then 50 years later he saw him, and he's still around. So do you think Ra's is lying to Oliver? I think it's kind of a question based on my previous point, but do you think he might be lying?
Now that you actually bring that up, I think that the Lazarus pit, that whole thing did happen, and that he does want to take over the body, but that you brought up how he met a magician a while ago. Do you think that might be Malcolm Merlyn? Because Merlin in the comics, Merlin, he's that, and then also he came back to life after being stabbed by Oliver in the first season. So, Merlin has been resurrected in a way that we don't know of and stuff. And it could play into that, what you said a couple episodes ago, where like he just teleports everywhere.
That's true. Maybe Merlin is a real magician, and he's been around for a while. But I don't think so, because of I don't remember what episode it was, but there was an episode that told about his reactions to his wife dying and stuff, and so then he goes and trains. And also I think Ra's was talking to Malcolm when he was telling that story of the magician. I think he would have said, I saw you in 1850. That was you, man.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
But I mean, I could totally see that magician story coming back and being another DC Comics character that's been around for a while.
Maybe we'll see like super young Zatanna, or like
maybe, or her father is Zatara, which is if your name is Zatara, why would you name your daughter Zatara?
Yeah,
that's not even on the show. It's not even on the show. Let's move on. So Thea, we haven't even mentioned Thea yet. So at the end of the episode, Thea tells Nyssa that Malcolm didn't exactly kill Sarah.
Well,
it was
let's get
her,
into it at the
and
beginning.
hands her a knife.
At the beginning of the episode, she's the one who made the progress of the episode actually start, because
That's
she
true.
was the one who, well, first she discovers that she was the one who killed Sarah. She tells Laurel. They both want to get vengeance. She sends Laurel to go meet up with Malcolm Merlyn, and then after that, she also tells Nyssa that, you know, Merlin's like, oh, he killed her. So, you know, she was the one who has been fighting like the guilt the entire episode.
Yeah. I honestly, while I was watching the episode, I was really struggling to understand why all of these, I think particularly the female characters, were making such terrible decisions. Like, everything they knew they shouldn't do, they were just like, nah, we're going to do that anyway.
Everything that went against her judgment, even Felicity.
Yeah. Like, I can't right now. I hate Laurel, by the way. I hate her again. I started liking her after she beat her alcoholism. Now I hate her again because how do you go and fight Malcolm Merlyn when you've had what, 3 boxing lessons with Ted Grant? Like
And with a stick. With a stick,
with a
too.
stick. He was literally swatting her away. Just like she was nothing. And
Yeah.
where is Ted Grant? Like,
He might be in the hospital still after that whole.
I mean, probably. He
the
doesn't.
fight.
He didn't think he was gonna make it. I hope they don't just like we never see him
Oh,
again.
he's
and we
dead.
think he's dead. Like I really hope that doesn't happen. Laurel needs to go and like see Ted Grant and be like, you need to train me for real because I
Yeah.
suck. I'm the worst Black Canary ever. She's horrible. I can't stand her again.
Okay, but getting back to
Yeah.
the end where Thea hands Nyssa the knife, lets her out of the cage, or she walks into the
Opens the
cage.
yeah.
And
What do you think Nyssa's gonna do?
I don't know. I think that, you know, Nyssa might take into account what I think Oliver was saying, how, you know, it's not her dad, like Ra's al Ghul, he's not fighting for vengeance because of like Nyssa's feelings for Sarah, and then she might just think about that. And I can't see them killing off Thea so quickly, especially because now that she finally realized who she is and like that she's coming on to, she's kind of like part of Team Arrow now, in a way. I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of her like being trained by Oliver in the future seasons and stuff.
Okay, I see. Here's why I don't think they're gonna kill off Sarah. Or I'm not. Sarah's already dead.
Thea.
Thea. I don't think they would open the episode with killing Thea. They may end the next episode with killing Thea, but I think Nyssa is going to have to learn more of the story, because
Yeah.
at this point she thinks it was just Malcolm, and then Thea said no, it was me.
Yeah.
Like that she didn't really explain that she was under drugs and stuff like that. Not really. So I think that needs to get explained to her, and then Nyssa needs to decide whether or not she wants to kill Malcolm or she wants to kill Thea, and then she needs to kill one of them.
Do you think at any time for the rest of the season, just to wrap it up with Arrow, that we'll be seeing Roy Harper's Arsenal somehow make the evolution and the jump? I know that we haven't talked about him at all much, but like make the jump to becoming Red Arrow, because you've seen in the past couple of episodes his kind of rebelliousness against Oliver when he stands up for Laurel, he stands up for Thea, saying that, you know, let them make their own decisions, you know, we did fine without you. Do you think that maybe somewhere in the future, maybe like Thea might get killed, and
I see what you're saying.
or
Like do you think
something will happen?
Like, do I think Roy is gonna leave Team Arrow? Is that what you're getting
yes,
at?
like something will happen that creates a divide between Oliver and Roy, and he goes off on his own and does his own thing.
I haven't thought about it before. I think, yeah, maybe by the end of the season, that might be a possibility.
Because I've just been like slowly seeing like the small divide between them getting progressively larger and larger ever since Oliver disappeared.
Yeah,
And,
you know, in the comics, it was a drug problem that led to the split. Red Arrow had a drug problem. I don't think that's the route they should go in the series. But I think, yeah, like the death of Thea or something like that would be a really good rift between the two of them.
And then even if by chance Thea doesn't die, she might become like the second Speedy.
That'd be cool.
So yeah.
All right, so Gotham, this week's eye-popping episode of Gotham. See what I did there? He liked that one. Yeah, let's just jump right into that Fish Mooney scene. What?
That was horrific. When I saw it, I kind of actually, like, my stomach was like, because I think at the time, I think I had just got home from class and I was eating dinner. And I was watching it and I was like, yeah, like, this is a great episode. Like, so many things are happening. And then, like, if this was a spoon, it's just
just straight in there.
And I was like, all right with that. But then they showed her without the eye, like in like her socket. And
yeah, I didn't think they would go that far.
I'm like, that's disgusting. And then she steps on it, which like.
I mean, she needed to do that.
Put
like
the nasty,
you know,
icing on the cake.
Yeah.
For me.
It was funny because I was watching with my best friend who had never seen the show before.
Oh.
And so, like, when that happened, both our jaws were just on the floor. We were just like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
And he knows I'm a huge Batman fan. He's not as big of a comic book fan. He was like, did you know that was going to happen? Did you have any idea? I was like, I have no idea what's happening with this character right now. I really didn't think she was the type of character that would resort to hurting her own self.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, then again, we never saw her rise to power under the Falcone army. So maybe that is the type of person she is. I mean, clearly it is.
Yeah.
Like, she popped her own eye out. Not maybe. She clearly is that type of person. So I think what I'm most excited for now is seeing Fish Mooney in an eye patch. She's gonna look badass, I think. Yeah.
And then going along with that, how did you feel about them giving like the name of the doctor? It was like Dullmacher.
Yes,
Dullmacher,
I like
but
that.
It's Dr. Dollmaker.
Yeah, if you remember back to the first couple of episodes, those kids that were getting kidnapped from the streets were getting kidnapped by the Dollmaker.
Yep.
That is this same person. So I like that they're bringing that back because I was wondering about the Dollmaker. We never really
what
saw
happened
him.
to them.
Yeah.
That was those. Oh, sorry. Whoops. That was those two. The two, like the woman and like the guy who like they tried to capture, like Selena Kyle, right?
Yeah. Selena Kyle and Corey in the House was in that episode too.
Yeah.
He was totally in that episode. I haven't seen him since. But so Red Hood. The Red Hood, I was loving the just the symbology of the Red Hood. The fact that like it was almost like every commercial break we got a new person in the hood.
It wasn't like, oh, okay, here's the Joker now. It was
Yes.
another one of those things that the producers led us to believe that, oh, Joker's gonna come. We're gonna be disappointed because they're introducing him so quickly. But then
They really did it right with that first Red Hood gave you just a little bit of inkling towards a Joker thing, and then they kill him.
Yeah.
And then the guy who kills him puts on the mask. Then the next guy who kills that guy puts on the mask. It's perfect.
And that's kind of like, it's very reminiscent to me of the opening scenes of The Dark Knight, where the Joker has someone, they're all in the Joker mask, not Red Hood. They're robbing a bank.
Yeah.
One guy kills another so that the shares aren't as much. Then they kill each other, and then eventually the Joker just has everything.
The one small part of the Red Hood storyline that I wasn't thrilled about, but they definitely needed, was at the end when the Red Hood is just laying on the ground. There's cops everywhere, and a kid just walks by, picks up the Red Hood, puts it on, and then makes guns, and then does that towards the police. No one sees him, says, hey, take that Red Hood off.
Yeah.
Like, no one.
And there's no like preconceived notion that like that kid is violent at all. He just looks like a normal kid walking up. Oh, look, there's like a I don't know, if I saw a piece of cloth on the ground, I wouldn't first think, oh, it's a hood. Let me put it on, and then, oh, look, there's cops.
Well,
Time to go shoot them.
I think that part was about the kid had seen the Red Hood gang, or at least had heard of the Red Hood gang and heard what they were doing, and so like he knew of the Red Hood, and that will then carry on into a new gang.
Yeah.
So that's what they needed that for that Red Hood gang thing from the comics, that you know there is no set one Red Hood.
Yeah.
The way they went about it though was a little awkward.
Okay.
I felt.
I definitely agree with you.
I want to talk about the that awkward scene between Barbara and Selena. I like every time they cut back to Barbara, I'm just like, why are we watching this? Who cares? Barbara Gordon, like, why does she even exist anymore?
Just to recap, 2 episodes back, at the very end, Barbara, she was talking with Ivy and Selena, and she was like picking out a dress to like go make Jim jealous and like try to win him back and stuff. And then she walks into the precinct and he's there hooking up with Leslie. So, and then she gets mad and comes back, and then she's just like, oh, time to go drink her sorrows away. So going back to the Barbara and Selena, it was such an awkward scene that, to me, I guess I might be missing out on something. I have no clue what the significance of that scene was.
I mean, I understand the significance. They were trying to portray that, in the future, Catwoman will use her looks to her advantage.
Yeah.
But then she, like, flipped it on Barbara, and, like, that's the only time we ever saw them the whole episode.
Yeah, it was like, why don't you use yours? Or like,
yeah, and she was like, oh yeah, what has it gotten you? And like, she's right. Like, Barbara is useless. I hate Laurel and I hate Barbara. I'm not really sure why, but I just can't stand Barbara. I don't get it. I didn't get that scene at all.
Yeah, that, and like, Ivy is there like watching the entire thing.
Yeah, Barbara pulls Selena aside and puts her in front of a mirror and says, "You are a true beauty." And they cut back to Ivy, like, seeing them, and it's kind of like, I felt like Ivy heard that and noticed it and was like,
supposed to be, like, character development?
it's like, yo, like, what am I, chopped liver? Although at that time she was holding a dress that had like floral prints on it and stuff, so that was kind of a nice little subtle nod to her future.
The very subliminal character development of Poison Ivy.
Yeah. So then the last thing I wanted to talk about was, the Penguin and Butch. I didn't think I'd like their relationship, but I like it.
Those exchanges were, it's not what you would expect. You would think that, like, right now in the series, you can't really tell if Butch is, putting on an act, or if he's actually brainwashed by Victor, or if, he's just waiting for the right moment and stuff. And everything that happened was just like, okay, like, I'm getting used to them actually being a pair and stuff. It's an awkward pairing, but
I think that makes it better, though.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that
you never know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Like, I feel like neither of them totally trust each other, and yet Butch is still there to bail out Penguin during the whole robbery of the alcohol thing. And I like that. I like that the Penguin, even though he's able to rise in the ranks of the mob. Once he's given that restaurant, like, he doesn't know how to run a restaurant. He doesn't know how to run a club, but Butch does, because Butch has been, Butch was there, like you said, Butch was there from the beginning of that club. And so now Butch is there to help him and show him how to run a club, so then he can then later run the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah, I think the one final, like, most awkward thing that occurred between them was when Penguin was like, "Do you miss her?" and stuff. And he was just, and like Butch was just like, "I'm just trying to like run the club or something like that for you," and like, I enjoyed being with her, but then the club comes first or something.
Penguin is just he's like too rude at times. Like, he just doesn't know when to shut his mouth, because like, Butch is helping him. Like, Butch is his partner, and he keeps bringing up Fish, and it's like, yo.
Is it gonna push Butch over the edge and be like, now I remember who Fish Mooney is, and by the way, you were the one who screwed her over, so I'm gonna like come after you and stuff.
All right, so this has been Dave and Chris with your update on Gotham and Arrow. Coming up next, I'm going to give your comics in the news. Hey guys, Dave here, and I'm giving you your comics in the news. As all of DC Comics series, both weeklies and monthlies, wrap up their current storylines over the next couple of months, we knew we'd get plenty of surprises and cliffhangers leading into their summer event, Convergence. This week was no disappointment, as readers learned the identity of a mysterious villain in Batman Superman, fans of Batgirl found some new incentive to pick up her secret origin story, and several other stories opened new doors for DC as Convergence fast approaches. The most potentially game-changing revelation in DC Comics this week took place in what's arguably one of the most unexpected places, the end of Batgirl number 39. And dare I say it, it might have something to do with Oracle. After a character in the issue discovers Batgirl's secret identity through some computer research, she says, "Barbara, you're Batgirl." And after Babs says, "Yeah," a strange image comes up on the computer screen and says, "No, you're not." On the final page, readers are shown Batgirl's shocked face as she sees on the computer screen what appears to be a green digitized image of Barbara Gordon saying, "And I'm going to take back what's mine." So, who is this angry Barbara Gordon on the computer screen? Is it a digital version of her brainwaves or something, trapped in a computer? Or is Batgirl actually not Barbara Gordon? Now, here's the kicker. The tease at the end of the issue says, "Learn who Batgirl really is in Secret Origins number 10, on sale February 25th. Unfortunately, Secret Origins number 10 didn't give us all the answers we were looking for, but it did give us some clues as to what's happening here. We're shown a moment when her mind was scanned as part of her still mysterious recovery from her spine being shattered, and how that brain scan was used in Barbara's crime-solving algorithms. This issue really just leaves us with more questions. Is this just a brain scan of Barbara Gordon, or is it, for all intents and purposes, the real Barbara Gordon? Is it a backup of Barbara in the body of Batgirl? How exactly was her body healed? Could this give us two Barbara Gordons, a Batgirl and an Oracle? Now that could satisfy both fan bases simultaneously. Look out for the next issue of Batgirl to reveal what's really going on here. A lot of loose threads were wrapped up in this week's issue of Justice League as the Amazovirus storyline ends to make room for next week's prologue issue for June's Darkseid War. But the issue also opens up the possibility of there being a slew of new metahumans on the main DC Earth, all the results of the Amazovirus. And that includes a new take on Amazo. While traditionally a Superman villain, in the New 52 he's the patient zero from the Amazovirus infection, and right now he's mostly a Lex Luthor nemesis. I'm betting that many of these brand new metahumans will actually be revamped versions of old DC heroes and villains introduced into the new DCU by adding the Amazovirus to their origin stories. In the Superman's Joker storyline in Batman Superman, there have been plenty of clues, but it wasn't until this week's issue that readers learned the true identity of the villain who's been toying with Kal-El for the last few months. As readers were first told by Greg Pak in an interview on Newsarama.com, the villain is an old character, but with a new approach. There were already plenty of hints in the story that the character was linked to the bottled city of Kandor, and in this issue, Superman, Supergirl, and Batman all shrink down into Kandor and discover none other than Zod-2, the Phantom King. The villain, a revamped version of the original, was exiled into the Phantom Zone by Superman's father, Jor-El, and now he's taking revenge on Superman in a very Joker-esque way, involving the death of his family, no less. Things look tough for Superman, but with Batman and Supergirl in his corner, chances are that next issue will wrap things up. And finally, my favorite comic from last week, Batman and Robin number 39, and yet another entertaining exploration of how Damian Wayne, the recently resurrected son of Bruce Wayne, uses his new superpowers he's developed during the process of returning from the dead. The creative team of Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason have thrown a wrench into the system and possibly opened the door to the end of this concept by showing that Damian has had a hiccup with his powers. Sadly, he's also got this weird thing going on where he can't feel anything, and that's adding another wrinkle to this boy's resurrection. We'll see how long Damian's powers last. I'm betting not long. Either way, Robin is helping out the Justice League next issue, and that should be a lot of fun. I honestly could not have picked a worse week to start choosing the number one must-buy comic of the week. It was a very close decision between my pick and Batman number 39, which is revealing a possible new origin for the Joker. However, I chose Spider-Gwen number 1 as my comic to buy this week. Marvel is at the forefront of the female-driven comics, and this series is their most anticipated yet. Spider-Gwen first appeared in the Edge of Spider-Verse #2, which told the origin story of an alternate universe in which Gwen Stacy is bit by the radioactive spider rather than Peter. In fact, in this alternate universe, Peter becomes the Lizard and is killed. Peter's death has a similar motivational effect on Gwen, however, the two aren't romantically linked like the traditional versions of the characters. She next appeared in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man during the recent and amazing Spider-Verse event, which featured thousands of alternate versions of Spider-Man from all around the multiverse. Spider-Gwen #1 is the first issue of Gwen Stacy, the Spider-Woman's new ongoing series, which makes it the best possible time to get into this book. I love this book because it takes place in an alternate universe, so you don't have to worry about previous stories you've missed. There aren't any. Spider-Gwen #1 is my comic to buy this week, so look for it at your local comic book shop. Well, that's all I have for this week's Comics in the News. Tune in next week as I once again try to pick my must-buy comic of the week.
Hey, what's up? This is Rantin' Ramon.
And that's Pissed Off Pat. We're going to talk about some shit co-op games. All right, you're the one wearing the Halo shirt. Why don't you go first? Why don't you talk about Halo?
All right, yeah. Okay, for all intents and purposes, Halo is my absolute favorite video game of all time. But I'm ready to tear at a new one when it comes to co-op. For instance, every single co-op campaign game, for some reason, you and your friends are running around playing on even so far as normal difficulty. All of a sudden, one player dies. Then all of a sudden, you have to wait for the area to be completely clear.
Why can't I spawn?
Yeah, why can't I spawn here? I'm sorry, my friend's in trouble. There's like 12 different Covenant up against him.
No, and they'll come up with a plethora of bullshit excuses. Too many enemies. It's not safe. You're moving too fast.
It's moving too fast? I'm sorry. This is like a...
I'm sorry. Is this like Sonic the Hedgehog or something?
Apparently it is Sonic the Hedgehog. Too damn fast. Where are the golden rings I'm going for? But then of course you got, I don't know. It's like you'd think that if you're in trouble, if you're by yourself and you have like a whole crap load of enemies on your ass telling you that they want to eat you for breakfast, you'd think it would be more convenient to have your teammates spawn on you at that time.
I was playing 4 with my brother, and I cannot remember what mission it was, but we were surrounded by hunters.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, all right, Chris, we got this. He gets slapped and just flies into the abyss. I'm like, oh, well, shit. And I'm like,
oh dear God,
and then
hunter.
The fucking flat cannon.
Goodbye.
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 Yeah.
It's like, and the whole time in the area, it was like your brother's scream was probably going like, oh, too many enemies, too much fire coming your way. No.
That's exactly what
like,
happened.
No, we want you, the dead player, to be safe when you spawn in.
Yeah.
No, never mind the person who's still alive. It's like, nope, bitch, you gotta work. You gotta work.
All right. Let me bring up something that me and my brother used to play all the time. Resident Evil 5. Now, let me be the first to say, this game was my shit. Play that shit all day. You know, just me and my brother in our underwear, pajamas, whatever, you know, playing as Chris and Sheva. Then we figured out what the B button did. Come on! Come on!
Come on!
Come on!
Hey, over here!
Come on!
Over here!
Come on!
Over here! Come on!
Chris,
Come on!
Sheva.
Joe! Come on!
Shut the f up! I'm going to get there. Can I pick up this first aid kit? That way you stop bleeding out of your ass.
Yeah, never mind Mario Party 7. That game will ruin friendships if you're playing co-op. Oh my God.
Just mashing the R button. Woohoo! Woohoo! It's the same f***ing shit. But we'll rock on Mario Party one some other day.
Oh yeah, that's a rant for a day.
That's a rant for another day, you know. Hey, you got whatever you want.
Okay.
I don't...
All right, let's think about some games that actually would really nail co-op really well if they implement it in certain game modes. For instance, Battlefield. I have never seen a better spawn-in mechanic than Battlefield, because even if there are enemies on your ass, your teammates can still spawn on you. Granted, you'll get a little warning sign saying, hey, enemies are in there, but at least they'll freaking spawn on you. And again, this is limited only to multiplayer with a squad mechanic, but I'm pretty damn sure if DICE or EA would sort of give them the go-ahead for like a dedicated co-op mode.
Now, hold on. You're expecting EA and DICE to do something smart.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. That is yet another rant for another day.
Like, yeah, that is another rant for another day.
It's like, oh my God. At least they push back Hardline. Yeah. That's showing them that they're like, hey, we don't want to repeat another Battlefield 4 fiasco. But I digress. Either way, Battlefield has a great spawn-in mechanic, but what pisses me off is that it doesn't get used for a dedicated co-op mode. And don't even get me started on Battlefield 3's co-op mode. Did you ever remember playing that?
I'm completely
Exactly.
virgin
Neither
to
did
the-
I. It was terrible. It was limited to 2 players. It was a glorified Spec Ops mode from Modern Warfare, which also sucked. I mean, like, think of it this way.
Boy.
Yeah, let's take a moment to think about Modern Warfare 2 and 3's Special Ops mode. It's like you're just one person, like you have one buddy to play with.
Yeah.
One buddy to play with.
And
And
you
then
know
all
what?
of a sudden, yeah, he's
You know,
down.
Yeah, he's down. And I'm like, God damn it. And I save him, and then we both get blown up by a fucking tank.
Exactly, yeah. And not only that, like when you're down, when you have a pistol to shoot at, the guys can shoot at you again. The enemies can shoot at you again, and then you're completely disoriented, and you
Yeah.
can't even defend yourself.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't mind the whole down mechanic if it wasn't for the fact I have strawberry fucking jelly all over my goddamn screen.
Oh my God.
There is a better way to represent health in a shooter than fucking blood everywhere. Look at Halo. Look at Team Fortress. Look at Alien Isolation. I mean, if you want to count that as a shooter. You know, pick up your Activision, whoever the fuck makes those games now. All right, but we're beating around a huge bush that when everyone thinks co-op, this is what we think of. Mario Brothers for the Wii.
Oh.
Seriously, you know, you're playing your game and you know, you're going through levels like, all right, we got to get to this flagpole. We
go.
got this.
Come on,
We got
we can
this.
do
We
this.
got
We
this.
can do this. We
Oh,
can-
God damn it, I jumped. That was horse shit.
Hell! No!
Ah! Fuck!
No!
You just salty sprint the out of there.
Exactly. Oh my God.
But I mean, instead of just demonstrating like the reactions, let's actually talk about the that went down. You know? Now, Nintendo decided, you know what would make this game fun? Let's put collision detection on the people that are supposed to be cooperating. Oh, also, let's put everything on the same button. God no, you do not know how many times I've accidentally picked someone up and thrown them into lava.
Oh my God. As funny as that looks, like just picturing it, it's like, whoop.
God
Goodbye.
damn it, we were almost done.
I was throwing you to the flagpole. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you in the lava.
Oh, and the bubble mechanic, it seems good on paper, but then you get that one asshole. It's like, all right, go. You're the only one left alive. Get the flagpole and let's get the out of here. My brother literally jumps right before he hits the flagpole, bubbles up just to with us.
No. Oh my God. That's just, that's
Many
trolling.
Marios were lost that day.
So many Marios.
They
Rest
improved-
in peace.
yeah. They
1,000
improved
plus
it in
Marios.
they improved it in 3D land. I mean, they still have the problem of everything being on the same button. So again, I keep throwing people by accident. But you know, Nintendo's starting to learn their lesson. Oh, wait, no, they're not. You want to talk about Brawl? I'll talk about Smash 4.
Let's see. All right, let's think about like Brawl's campaign.
Yeah.
All right. Admittedly, I'm not too all familiar with that, but what I've heard is that it's a nightmare to play co-op.
Like,
yeah.
the story is fun. You know, it's fun to get into. But then you realize the second player is barely there. Like, I would compare it to like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where you're playing as Tails and you're constantly being thrown off screen. Because second player can't open doors. Second player, if they veer off too far, they get warped to first player, even if second player was going in the right direction. And don't get me started on the live system, right? So we can be on our last lives, you know, I'm doing my Mario thing and I'm first player, and him, he's playing as Ike. I don't give a right? I die, but we don't have any lives left, but he's still clearly alive. The game ends anyway. It's like, oh, you're second player. We don't give a about you.
Ugh, I'm dead. Game over.
Yeah.
And you're still there.
And here's the thing. If I'm first player, it's fine. But first player, oh, you died. Second player dies, like, oh, we don't give a He'll come back soon enough. He's probably that friend that just comes over because he doesn't own a Wii of his own. You know what? Just that guy. Except, you know, I was that guy.
You know. But yes, of course, there are just a great number of co-op games that just tear us to no end. And of course, teleporting was also a problem in Halo, if you remember. It's like,
Oh.
thankfully in Reach Onward, they made it like much less strict, but it's like you turn a corner, as soon as it hits loading, bam, your guy's right in front of you. Heaven forbid they teleport in front of you when you're about to use the rocket launcher or throw grenades. It's like, hey, let's see, like, you know, if you teleport in front of me all of a sudden, I'm about to throw a grenade. Oh,
Oh God, get it!
oh no.
Because you know, you go into panic mode and both of you are too stupid to, you know, run away from each other.
There's a grenade flying in your face, of course. It's like, no, that's not it. No, to quote Red vs. Blue, that's not a spider. That's a grenade with your damn name on it. Oh my God.
If we go back to Smash Brothers for a sec, Smash 4. All right, first of all, there's no story mode. That pisses me off. We'll get to that at some other point. But you can do classic and co-op mode now, which I thought, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, classic mode. And then you realize half the time you're not even playing the game. You're pretty much fighting over who the you get to fight next. It's like, oh, I want to fight Pitnet next. No, I want to fight Sonic. And why would you make both players able to control the map? Like, what was your thought process there, Nintendo? Like, Sakurai, you got any other games you want to talk about for co-op? I need a minute.
Let's see. I'll give you some respite, Ramon. I understand. But let's think about this for a second. I'm not sure what to think about Gears of War's co-op, though. They didn't have co-op was okay for that. It was, let's see, it's just having people constantly getting downed, especially on like insane difficulty. And it's like, did you ever have that one friend that would be like halfway across the map? And it's like, all of a sudden they get down, and it's like, oh, I went off on my own, but I'm down now. It's like, oh, and then all of a sudden, boom, Locust comes and curb stomp you. It's like...
You know what, though? That one, I don't get mad about. I don't get mad at the game. I get mad at my partner for being such a dipshit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, what the Oh, my God, but...
Yeah.
I know what co-op we can talk about. Sonic mothering boom. It takes everything that was bad about Brawls, everything that is bad about all of these games, right? And you think, okay, we see all the bad happens, not only in our franchise, but in every other franchise. Let's pour it all into one game. All right. The frame rate already had a ton of issues to begin with. Like, I don't know if you've played the game or seen the game in action. The frame rate drops like a rock on co-op mode.
Oh my God.
With co-op mode, it makes it that much harder to switch between characters. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe you can accidentally switch to someone else that your friend is playing and then boot them out of their character while they're doing important
Ouch.
I mean, at least it's split screen. It's not like those other platforms that, like, you share a screen and it's like, hey, I want to go over here. Well, you, I'm making progress. And then teleport. But, you know, the co-op wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the goddamn bounce pads. It's bad enough when you have one character going, bounce pads, bounce pads, bounce pads, jump on that thing, ooh, rings, holy shit, I think I can break that wall. Now imagine that times two.
No.
Hey look, a bounce pad, rings, shut the up. God.
So yeah, co-op.
It can be done well, but...
It really can be. It's just, it's surprising. I'm surprised that I'm surprised at this point that so many people have managed to really screw that mechanic up.
I mean, it's Murphy's Law. It's like, if there are two ways to do something, they'll do the way that's right and it makes sense. And then there is guaranteed for someone to shit the bed. Like, shit the bed.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about the guy that puts butter in the toaster with a fork while in his bathtub. We're talking about that type of bed.
Oh, God.
I'm done. I need to see a heart surgeon. I'm gonna give myself a ulcer.
I'm sorry, everybody. We're done.
We're done.
Great rant, but we're done.
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 Turn the off.
That's our show, Save Pointers. Happy gaming!
We'll see you next time, and remember to stay classy, Monmouth University. But until then, we have reached the Save Point.